Oh man, guess what I didn't do? I don't. Hold on. Where am I at? I've disappeared. I guess Morgan finally did away with me. Oh Lord, I'm gone. I am nowhere to be seen. Oh, I found me. Hi. I'm not dead. There's little to no fanfare about me not being dead. That's okay. That's okay. Not gonna take that personally. Not gonna feel a certain way about that. It's fine. It's fine. How's it going, Tengu? How's it going, Barbara? I don't know why I sang your name, but there you go. How's it going, y'all? It's friggin' cold here. I'm not a fan. It's been pretty cold the last couple of days, but today the wind chill is maybe a little more biting than I would prefer. Recovering from the shock of me returning from the dead. That's good. That's a good reason to have not erupted in fanfare. But I will accept I will accept late fanfare though, if you want to, just pile it on a little extra thick. Ooh. Yeah, I'm still kind of just in the throes of that week after Christmas where there's really nothing going on. So I've just kind of been lazing about, not doing a whole bunch, enjoying the downtime. I've wanted to get into a couple other games that aren't of the devil over the break, but I just kind of haven't found the right mood for it, I guess. So I've just been kind of like plunking away on my own little game dev project, and which is kind of ballooning into a little bigger of a project than I intended, but it's not going to become, I think, much bigger than any of my other larger projects. It's just, it went from being a small thing that was going to be, oh, this will be a cute thing people can play for like 5 minutes, and now it's probably going to be more 10 to 15. On the phone, it takes a bit longer to type. Yeah. Even like even though I got like a much better phone these days, much better than like the 8 or 9-year-old piece of crap that I was on for the longest time, I still find myself just not being able to type very fast on a touch screen, or making a lot more mistakes than I would care to. So I don't know how people just live only typing on a phone. I couldn't do that. I don't really like it much. That said, it is nice having a nice fast phone. So, yeah. So we're back here. We are playing Of the Devil Episode 2, which, again, if you were not aware, I was given a copy by the developer, so I am a shill and you cannot trust my opinions on anything, but we finally hit trial yesterday, and Morgan has decided to begin playing 4D chess and turn this case into something much different. And now we're missing a witness. So that's the prosecution's key witness, in fact, is now missing. So that's a little concerning, but it could also just mean a real quick win for us. But I don't think Morgan's gonna get off that easy. I think there's probably some shenanigans being played here. Yeah, so I guess we're currently, court is in recess. I guess we're trying to find the witness, and we're probably going to follow up on that whole contraband angle. But let's see where things go. So Aurea Holdings is not part of House Icaria. No, it is. House Icaria is comprised of the literal Icaria family, the Icaria Financial Group, and Aurea Holdings. But each of those parts is a separate identity from the others. That is very confusing. No, well, yes, it can be confusing, but it protects us. Protects the IFG. No, it protects the house from itself. If everyone in the Icaria family was a member of the IFG and the IFG was called the Icaria family, that'd be much simpler. I know it'd be simpler, but that's... Who the hell is this guy to keep Rockford waiting? Are you addressing your question to me? I've never met the man. Well, he's met you, smacked you upside the head, and cuffed you. If you say so. I told you I don't remember anything after I walked out of that holding room. Chime in at any time. Apologies, Adonai. I was just trying to answer your question. Who the hell is Officer Rogers? You find his socials or something? I found a news story attached to a live feed. Oh, geez. Buckle up. Is this gonna be weird? Is this gonna be bad? Is this gonna, like, reflect bad on both Icaria and Sosuke now? Did this guy get disappeared? He's shaking hands with some men at the top of some stairs. Right now? What's the headline? City Council members thank heroic officer for his service. Oh, well, that makes sense. How can it? Emma's outranked. If the politicians decided now was the time to do the photo ops, she doesn't have the pull to go against them. Are Officer Chopin's parents there? Yes, both his fathers are present. Adoptive fathers. Are you trying to make me feel better? Adoptive or not, they are his parents, and their pain is real. Of course. But that pain would be equally real if they weren't expressing it in front of those cameras, don't you think? If you're feeling guilty, Sosuke, please get it out of your system before the trial resumes. I don't feel guilty. Even if I did kill that officer, I wouldn't lose sleep over it. But that doesn't make it right. Taking a life? Parents having to outlive their children. And here I thought you'd be all about filial piety. Are you telling me you wouldn't take a bullet for your patriarch, Daisuke? Of course I would. And force him to outlive his son? How could you? Adopted son from a branch family. Do I need to point out how badly you're contradicting yourself? Daisuke Icaria could have let me waste away when the rest of the Hayakawa branch was killed. Instead, he placed me at the right hand of power, a seat of honor, a subservient seat. All seats are subservient, not the one at the top. I didn't know the rest of your birth family died, Sosuke. Retaliation for the fall of the leaves. Quite the dignified way to refer to the Icaria killing all those blue bloods 30 years ago. Anyway, it was my understanding that was a complete and total victory, the kind that left the Blue Bloods incapable of counterattacking. Very nearly so. Do you disapprove of what happened 30 years ago, Sosuke? Of course not. The barbarity of the house's enemies left it with no other choice but to act. No way out, huh? By the way, I was asked to pass along a message to you. If you're given a way out, take it. Who told you that? Huh. Interesting. Why would we lie about this? Why would we not just tell him Mireille told him? I don't know that if it even affects anything, but I don't know what... I don't know what it would mean to lie about this. So I'm just gonna say it was Mireille. She said her name was Mireille. Who is she? A powerful member of the house, on the side of Aurea. Slow down, loose lips. I didn't ask for her whole life story. What? Oh, sarcasm. Sorry, I'm just surprised. Surprised that she would take a personal interest in the outcome of this affair. So did that message mean anything to you? I'm not sure. You're a terrifically helpful client, you know that? There's something you should know about me, Morgan. About the Hound of Icaria. I didn't earn that title as a bodyguard or head of security, and I didn't learn how to kill in the military. The Hound of Icaria is the house's personal assassin. What happened to the House of Icaria being refined, elevated above their criminal past? The house is elevated. The status has granted it more enemies than ever. Enemies that need to be taken out silently, but undeniably. Undeniably? What I do is send messages. They need to be received by the right people, and they need to know who it's from. You kill so that the other houses in the nobility know it was the Hound, but can't prove that the House Icaria was responsible. Their own pride over being able to handle things internally and their humiliation at being outplayed ensures that deaths stay out of the papers. So the entire police force can descend on a jaywalker caught by a reflection off a dash cam, but the nobility gets to wave off the surveillance state with a perfumed handkerchief, flaunting how the rules don't apply to them. Like I thought, a very pure expression of power. So all that talk of you being Makoto's head of security was all true. I have been Makoto's head of security for the past year. Did your courier business dry up? Circumstances around Makoto had changed. I was asked to step in and fill a role. And what you said about guarding the previous heir, waving your katana around as soon as you could walk, the circumstances were different then too. Why tell me now? Because now that I've seen her, I don't think Rockford will have missed it. No, why didn't you tell me yesterday, the first time we met, when I could have actually prepared for this? Clearly, you've got some deeply held desire to rot in prison since you won't help me win this case. But what happened in the last 5 minutes that you suddenly got cold feet? Adonai. Yesterday, I thought you were just some outsider, in over their head, who would surely drown if they knew who they were defending. Today, I think you're an outsider, in over their head, who could stay afloat with a lifeline. Thanks for the heads up. 5 minutes' notice really comes in handy when your client asks you to catch a bullet. Excuse me. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Sarah. I can't imagine you're pleased to be defending a self-confessed killer. I don't know what you went through when you were a soldier, and I have no idea what you've gone through as an assassin. Yesterday, Adonai suggested I shouldn't speak about those kinds of things since I have no experience with them. I don't know if she's right about that, but soldiers and assassins do exist in this world, and they are still people. Oh, how can you not love this precious daughter? How can you not love her? Oh. And I think I would be sad if I couldn't talk to any of them. On a related note, could you catch a bullet, Sosuke Icaria? No, Sarah. But you're a cybernetically enhanced martial artist. Bullets are very fast. That is true. I could probably catch an arrow if I knew it was coming. Tell me more! God, I love her. I love her! All right. We going back in? So you and your partner were the second officers to arrive on the scene. That's correct, ma'am. When the 10-999 went out, my partner and I were relatively center city. We were within jogging distance of the site after an elevator ride, so we proceeded on foot. Rogers still hasn't shown. Emma must have rushed London to adjust to the reshuffled docket. I assume he was rushed. He does seem somewhat distracted. We arrived on the premises at 10:21 p.m. At 10:27, we assigned Officer Rogers we assisted Officer Rogers in completing his arrest of the suspect. What did that involve? reading rights to an unconscious man. That's a good bit. We helped Rogers finish cuffing the suspect, is what I meant. His hands were shaking. Your witness, counselor? Oh, we're just going right into blackjack. Okay. I'd like to ask London why he wasn't explicit about all this yesterday, but complaining about a detective not being forthcoming with the defense isn't exactly a winning strategy. He didn't hesitate to show me his involvement with the mafias yesterday. What's he got left to hide? Well, let's just start from the top and see what we can wrangle out of this guy. Why were you and your partner in the center city that night, detective? Well, to be honest, I hadn't eaten dinner yet, and I was really in the mood for some kind of hot soup, you know? And my partner was kind enough to indulge me on taking a drive. That's all he's gonna say? It's not like I can call him a compromised witness just because he was in the area, but what the hell is there even to press when his answer is that simple? I'm almost tempted to. Was the soup good? Was the soup any good, detective? I never got any in the end. Had this hole-in-the-wall place in mind, but when we got there, turned out that they'd gone out of business last month. It'd been a while since I'd last stopped by. I guess I always knew they weren't that successful, but I thought it'd lose some of its charm if it got so popular. Maybe if I hadn't been so selfish, they'd still be here. You never know how much you miss that 7 out of 10 restaurant until it's gone, you know? Yes, we are asking the important question. I always want to know more about some hot soup. Your Honor, relevance? Oh, we're getting bonked. It is not relevant, but it is poignant and deeply human. I'll allow it. Or I won't punish it, at least. Now ask a real question. Right away, Your Honor. You know what? I knew 80 had our back. 80 is a girl after my own heart. She's all about the hot soup and how it warms the soul. Okay, we're interested in the body cams right now. Dumb question, detective, but did you have your body camera on? Officers aren't required to turn on body cameras when responding to an emergency, counselor. And detectives aren't required to wear body cameras at all. Like I said, dumb question. Well, okay, what about Reyes? By any chance, did your partner have a body camera going? Perhaps out of a characteristic abundance of respect for the rules. Matter of fact, I believe she did. So of the first 4 of our city's brave policemen to arrive at the scene of the crime, only one of them thought to turn their body cam on? It's my understanding that Rogers couldn't turn his on, as it had been broken earlier in the week. Isn't that convenient? And Tariq Chopin? I don't know why he didn't have his on. Does Emma know? Does Officer Rogers? Is there any more meat on that bone? Or is this just... Okay. And how did you and your partner go about clearing the building? I took point and my partner covered me, checking the rooms behind as we went. It was tense, searching the rooms with that racket blaring from upstairs. You were still searching for suspects even though there was a 10-999 on the 3rd floor? Rogers had already reported the manner of his partner's death, counselor. We weren't going to run upstairs to try and defibrillate. How was that report made? Over comms around 10:17 p.m. Is it common practice to separate from one another when responding to a 10-999? It's one of several valid approaches the department advises in critical scenarios. Okay. Did you ever lose sight of your partner? That feels relevant. Did you ever lose sight of your partner? I might have. So she might have lost sight of you. Speculation, Your Honor. If I can't see you, you can't see me. That's not speculation, Honor. That's just grade school logic. Overruled. Spill the deets, witness. Yes. Me and my partner were separated as we cleared the building. For more than a minute, I'd say. Interesting. Thank you for giving us all of that to chew on, Detective London. Come on, give me a break. I was trying to be helpful. No, I mean it. I'm especially interested to hear you describe how my client was unconscious and helpless by the time he first arrived on any body cam. Shall we review the footage together? I wonder if we can pinpoint exactly how many wounds he received in between his arrest and when his mugshot was taken. Redirect, Your Honor. Really? What is she doing now? The prosecution called Detective London as their witness and asked their questions. Adonai just had a chance to ask her own questions during the cross-examination. After the cross-examination, the people can redirect if they have additional questions for the witness. So it wasn't just one for them and one for us. More like an eye for an eye for an eye until justice is blind and bloody. God, the writing in this game is so good. She wants another round? Why? Just stalling? Detective London, are you aware of an ongoing police investigation for a figure known as the Hound of Icaria? Not stalling. Approach, Your Honor. Wait, do I finally get to say the line? Hold on, this is happening too fast. Ahem. Okay, so you're and they're already here. Aww. This Hound of Icaria is obviously some kind of case file that the Organized Crimes Department is working on. Detective London isn't qualified to speak on it. Homicide, organized crimes, is there that big of a difference? Depends on the career of the witness in question. Detective London, for example, spent 6 years in the Organized Crimes Unit. He what? You didn't know that? Where are you taking this, Emma? Ugh, I hate to admit it, but I think I need spoilers as well. If you ask him about this, what's he gonna say? That the Hound of Icaria is an assassin who leaves calling cards at each of his kills, terrorizing the house's perceived enemies without shame. And that the lead suspect in those cases is a man around Sosuke's age and height. Oh, did she fail a JJBA reference? All right, that's another one of those things I just wouldn't get. With gray-blue hair, a modded spine, and a large tattoo of a dog across his back. Sosuke, you Bane son of a bitch, you got made with your shirt off! You cannot let the jury hear that, Your Honor. But I really want to. If organized crimes wanted to arrest Sosuke, they should have done that already. He's on trial here today for these 5 counts and nothing else. The defense has once again claimed that their client is merely some veteran who's been victimized by greater forces. But the police believe that he is in fact the deadliest soldier the Icaria have at their disposal. That's not irrelevant. No, it's just prejudicial as hell. Ugh, girls fighting, but obeying the legal precedent. But the tension, the human drama. He'll just be giving a summary. The case file won't enter the record. So you won't even give me the chance to object to the evidence? Your Honor, if you do this, the jury will be spoiled within seconds, and I'll have my client served up as a mistrial before the day's through. And some other lucky adjutant will get to have all the rest of the fun. I've severed the jury's feed for the time being. I'd like to hear exactly what the witness has to say before ruling on this testimony's inclusion. But Your Honor, the gallery. It's not your concern, not a concern of justice. This trial will remain open to the public. until such a time as I or the state feel it shouldn't be. Decision made. Thank you, Your Honor. What just happened? The jury's gonna take a bathroom break. Emma will get to ask her questions, but in all likelihood, the adjutant will make sure they never hear the answers. So we aren't any worse off? Sosuke might be. What do you mean? The gallery's filled to the brim with cops. They all think he killed Chopin. If London regales us with all the tales of the Hound's exploits on top of that... Don't worry, Sosuke, they can't do anything to you here. Because we're in a courtroom. I won't spend the rest of my life in this room, Sarah. And even if I could, I wouldn't. Detective London, if you would, please testify as to the... Oh, for real? Your Honor. What now? Hey, Rockford, the witness guy that flaked out on you Hey, Rockford, the witness guy who flaked out on you made you look dumb? Yes. He's finally here. Thank you, Your Honor. I have no more questions for the witness at this time. Really? But The redirect fizzles out. Counselor? You want to snap it up? No, Your Honor. Dang, Detective London. Nobody wants to talk to your ass. Thanks, 80. Miss Rockford let it go. She doesn't hold anything back in the courtroom, but only because that's what gives her the greatest chance of victory. If the jury wouldn't hear it either way, then she has no need to stall for time. She won't stoke the coals for the fun of it. So if you hadn't fought against the redirect up to this very last moment... Bullet caught, huh? Yeah. Nothing impressive about putting my arm between my gun and my... heart? I was gonna say stomach. That analogy seems weaker somehow. All right, what do we got now? There he is. The man of the hour. The hero who put a stop to the Hound of Icaria and brought justice to the city over the loss of its favored son, Tariq Chopin. Patrol Officer Rogers reporting for duty. Look at this dork ass. You don't have to say that. Sorry, then just, reporting for duty. Name and occupation. Patrol Officer Huey Rogers. Occupation, patrol officer. All right. You think that folks that pump gas are petrol officers? Huh? Nothing? Yeah, it's fair. All right. So, he's a police officer, Lower Wards Patrol. He likes saltwater, rosemary, and graffiti art. He dislikes sand, marshmallows, and the lottery. Wakes up at 5:30 a.m. He can't stand mice. And his balance is easily upset. Former partner of Tariq Chopin. Apologies for earlier. It's fine. The court understands that the city council had need of you. When I said my name wrong, won't happen again. And your tardiness? What's that? Being hours late to this trial? Did I not set a reminder? Oh! Does seeing him here in the flesh jog your memory at all? No, not at all. I think this guy would be pretty hard to forget. You must have sustained quite the concussion then. As an appetizer, from what I saw, he's lucky nothing important leaked out of his ears. Shall we begin, Officer Rogers? Right, from where? The start. Oh. Well, it was pretty boring. It was a pretty boring, normal night. Me and Chopin were just driving our route, windows down. He was always getting car sick if the windows weren't down. Then around 9:45 or so, my partner heard shots fired. So off we went. What does that mean? Well, I mean, shots echo down the lower wards, so I wasn't too sure about the direction. But my partner was confident that it had something to do with the Blue Bloods. That area is a known hotspot. As we neared the street, we saw people slinking away from it. We got the message. People can sense that kind of trouble, even when they don't know it. Something bad had gone down and no one wanted anything to do with it. Front door wouldn't budge. I peeked around into the alley, but the fire escape was out of commission. Then my partner, shot clean through the door handle. Chopin was that determined to get inside based on some echoed gunshots and a few context clues? Suppose context clues are most of what I use to find the place too, but... So when you arrived, the only way into the building was locked? Yeah, and so we had, strong reason to believe the shooter was still in the vicinity. I was in favor of waiting for backup at that point, but my partner, he was convinced the place was dead empty already. So he was moving a good bit faster than me right up until we got to the second floor and we heard a loud slam. A slam? What kind of slam? Like a slam! Or like a salam? Or like slam? What? Slam! Oh, God. I can't with this game sometimes. I don't know. It was loud, though. And Chopin gets all deadly serious and insists that I stay, and he goes ahead. And you've also got that that Onyx song, Slam! Da da da, da da da, let the boys be boys! Slam! Up to the third floor. After a bit, he yelled down to me saying everyone was dead and I should come join him. That's when I heard another heavy thud. I didn't know it was the sound of my partner's body hitting the floor. But I put two and two together when I saw that man there standing over him. Let the record show that the witness has finally identified the defendant. If you heard a noise at the crime scene, the natural conclusion would be that you were not alone. What if Chopin thought they weren't alone? Why would he insist on splitting up? Well, if you're looking at blocking all of the exits, I'm gonna say you're probably trying to prevent escape. Yeah, it's like when they showed the Foot Clan hideout, sure. So yeah, I'm gonna say this is like standard kind of covering the area and preventing escape. That's it. Chopin must have wanted to split up so they could cut off possible routes of escape. Perhaps I can shed some light on the late officer's actions. With more speculation? With some helpful theorizing. Capped off with hard evidence. Officer Chopin explicitly told his partner to stay behind, and the only reason he'd do that is if he thought it'd let them catch an escaping suspect. Why would he think a suspect was escaping if he heard a noise upstairs? He wouldn't. He'd only think a suspect was escaping if the noise he heard was... Oh, wait. Turn it up! I mean, the dumpster, I did call this out when we first, when this first came, when we were investigating, like the sound of this dumpster is going to play, a part here. A noise that came from the alley. What kind of noise would that be? A noise like the one I was treated to when Detective London clumsily shut the dumpster out there. Hey now, I left my ears ringing too, you know. What are you even talking about? I'm talking about an exit plan. In other words, how the real culprit managed to flee the scene. How does a dumpster lid relate to some imaginary suspect's great escape? 1963, 172 minutes. The only way to get from the third floor to the street without going past the two cops clearing the building would be by going down the fire escape and into the alley. A fire escape that's broken, so no one could climb up it, but anyone could jump from it onto a dumpster below. Oh, yeah. I can kind of see it. Uh-oh. That must be a dead pixel you're seeing, Your Honor. Were there boot prints on top of the dumpster? A dent on the lid? Well, that's... No, of course not. So there's no proof, no reason at all to think that anyone jumped down on top of it. And no reason for us to entertain this train of thought. Great escape. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Damn it, I've got nothing. Even if there had been damage to the dumpster, I could never prove it was caused by a fleeing culprit. Adonai. I'm thinking, I know, but might this not possibly be the time for you to stop thinking and instead flip the go board like you've told me to do before? You're horribly misquoting me. But Emma says there's no proof that anyone fled the crime scene. But if there was proof of that, what would it look like? Proof that someone was in that room when the police first arrived, but not there when the police got to the 3rd floor. They would have had to take the fire escape if Rogers never saw them. And they couldn't have taken the fire escape without first opening the window. It's been bothering me since yesterday. I was sure those windows were closed when I left, but they've been open ever since the scene was secured. Yo, how's it going, Gusakari? We are back in session. How you doing? How's the day treated you? I'm very cold. It's been very cold here today. Much less it's like, I don't think it got out of the 20s, but then there's the wind chill, which feels like it's 10 degrees colder. Meaning I should probably turn my heat up a little bit, but I'm sitting here and the thermostat's all the way over there. And I can't testify to that. The one time I know the truth and I want it to get out, but I can't admit it without screwing myself over. Adonai, any luck? You met up with some old buds at a nice drink in town? It's 50 there, otherwise a good time? Wow, I'm jealous of all of that, basically. Pardon the interruption, Your Honor. I have no objections at this time. Then the witness may continue. Please do. But rewind a bit first, if you could, since we got off topic. And don't spare any detail. Tell the court exactly what you saw, felt, and heard that night. Of course, the witness is a trained officer of our city's prestigious police force. He'll gladly recount every minutia for us, line by line. Like every detail, especially the irrelevant ones. Sir, yes, sir. I did get a little in my head just now. Better listen through his whole testimony at least once before I start looking for holes. It was a quiet night, but then my partner heard gunshots. We headed for the nearest known Orca hotspot and arrived to find the building dead quiet. Door was locked. I checked the alley, but didn't see another way in. So Chopin shot off the lock through the handle and we entered. Followed some kind of loud music up the stairs. Then there was a slam and my partner bolted upstairs. About a minute later, I heard a thud from upstairs and came running to find the defendant standing over my partner's dead body. Something stand out to you, Adonai? Yeah, my ears pricked up a little bit. The saying is, my ears pricked up a little bit. The saying is perked up, is it not? What? Let me focus. Okay. Sound system, fire escape, front door. It was a quiet night when my partner heard gunshots. We headed to the nearest known Orca hotspot and arrived to find the building dead quiet. The door was locked. I checked the alley but didn't see another way in. So Chopin shot off the lock through the door and we entered. Followed by some kind of loud music up the stairs. Okay, wait a minute. So, okay. About a minute later, I heard a thud from upstairs and came running, and then you saw... Okay, so... Sound system found at the scene of the crime. Still playing music loudly at the time of the scene. Okay, I think it's the sound system, and they said that the building was dead quiet. Okay, but he's claiming something that contradicts the crime scene as we know it. This one. Sound system. Wanna bet? Gotcha, bitch. How could you have arrived to find the place dead quiet when there was a sound system blaring on the top floor? The witness must not have heard the sound system. This is a noisy city. Even in the lower wards, he... Uh-oh. But he did hear the music. He described it in his testimony just now. Followed some kind of loud music up the stairs. Boom. So the building was dead quiet when you were outside, but you could hear music from the first floor? Soundproofing, maybe? Yeah, I'm always a big fan. Always a big fan of that. Well, yeah, I heard the music pretty much as soon as we stepped inside. Only after you stepped inside? Yeah, sturdy door, I guess. Your Honor, the witness has established that the front door was very secure and tightly locked. There's nothing strange about it blocking out some amount of sound. But it blocked out, like, all the sound. Once the door was open, the music was booming. The scene of the crime was a known Blue Blood property, yes? A safe house apartment complex of sorts, as I understand it. They must have made a number of modifications to the premises. That front door certainly looked newish. It looked like a newish addition. Maybe they redid the windows, too. Ha 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 ha! I don't get it! I don't mind stating it plainly, Your Honor. The building has been thoroughly soundproofed. The building has been thoroughly soundproofed, Your Honor. You think the building was soundproofed? I know it was. I experienced it myself, stepping out of that lower wards and into the dingy nightclub vibe. That would explain what the witness experienced, wouldn't it? Perhaps, but that wouldn't explain the building being dead quiet when they arrived. Not unless the window next to the sound system was closed. Showed my hand a bit there. She knows what I'm gunning for. Counselor, asking the court to accept that the building happened to be soundproof is not the flawless argument you're making it out to be. The window in question opens to the alley. Rogers could have easily missed the noise coming out of it. Even though he already testified that he checked the alley before his partner shot the door open. He might have merely neglected to mention that he heard music at the time. Huh? Music in the alley? I would have noticed that kind of thing. You're late! You're late! I'm gonna... Whatever the punishment is for a lawyer being late for trial, that is what you're subjected to. Summary judgment. You're guilty or whatever. You have to do the time that your client was gonna do now. It's all your fault. That's why you always send two lawyers. fast on the uptake, this one. I'm looking at this arcs from every angle I can, rotating cubes in my mind as fast as my programming will allow. And I'm still seeing a crime scene where the windows are open. What am I doing wrong? There's a trick to it. Try focusing on just a single cube first. Once you've got one spinning consistently. Yes, Your Honor, the windows were found open. It's a contradiction. The windows were closed when the officers arrived, but open by the time Rogers got to the 3rd floor. That means that someone must have opened them. Someone not currently on trial, Your Honor. You should stretch before attempting mental gymnastics that intense, Counselor. You claim that the windows were originally closed and only opened at the last moment as some mystery individual fled down into the alley. But we know Creek was standing in front of those windows when he was shot. And we can see where his blood landed on the sides of the windows that face into the room when open. If, as you claim, the windows were closed when he was shot, then his blood somehow ended up on the wrong side of the glass. Your theory is flawed. A far-flung fantasy with nothing other than Officer Rogers' poor hearing to support it. All the actual evidence shows that at the time of the murders, the windows were exactly as we found them, flung open. Her logic isn't faulty, and I can't overturn it with any given piece of evidence, but I can point out the flaw in how she's presented her evidence. Thank you for the advice about taking full advantage of arcs, by the way. But trust me, there are some things that are best understood by visiting the crime scene in person. What? Helps keep you from getting flipped around. Okay. What are you asking me here? What you can listen to as you can. Listen to your client whispering in your ear about shit that doesn't matter. Gotcha. Blood across the windows, fingerprints on handles, soundproofed? One of them always tells lies, the other one only tells lies. Crime. Blood spatter across the windows has, through forensic analysis, been traced back to when a maggot shall split into... It's definitely the open... Windows are open in arcs. Scene open by all officers. Fingerprints on handles and stuff. I guess I kind of missed what they're wanting me to point out is wrong here. It's one of these two, but I think I kind of... No, don't hint. It's fine. Like, I think I get what they're saying, but I think I'm just having a hard time visualizing what they're trying to say. Like, the terminology that they're using. Which way do the windows open? Like they say it opens toward the alley, but I don't know. Maybe my brain is just kind of... Yeah, I mean, I'm not that worried about being wrong. It's no big deal. I'm just, I guess the setup here just kind of has me a little confused. I think it's the window. I think that there's something wrong with the window here. I'm just gonna go with this. What makes you so certain that the police found those windows open? Because, oh, okay. Okay. Oh, well, cheers to the hardworking technicals who put that together for us. Okay, so it's the blood spatter. Apologies, Your Honor. I'm just confused. Yeah, me too. Like, I understand what they're saying. I just kind of think that the lead up to it was a little confusing. Apologies, Your Honor. I'm just confused. Why is Ms. Rockford talking about those windows as if they swing open? What are you talking about? Those windows don't swing into the room. They're pulled to the side. What? Didn't you see the fingerprints they found on the handles? One look at that should tell you which side of the glass faces indoors. Funny, wasn't it in the arcs? Oh, this is some very chic interior design I'm seeing. Very wabi-sabi. So if the windows only slide parallel to the walls, it wouldn't matter whether they were open or shut when... Okay. I see what you're saying. Why do people think that any of the characters in this game are flirting with each other? I'm not gonna go on a tangent, but I think sometimes people think women existing just means it's Yuri. Anyway. Nope, not gonna tangent. Not gonna do it. Well, Han is clearly flirting, but that's very clear. Like, that's true. But people trying to say that Emma and Morgan are flirting or that they're toxic Yuri is just like, this is one of the most sexless visual novels I've ever read in my life. You people really need to read some actual queer media. Read something that's actually about lesbians being lesbians instead of just trying to say that girls existing in the same place is girls being gay. And I'm just like, everybody's gonna get mad at me for saying that, but whatever. It's just like, I don't know. Anyway, I guess the tangent happened. It wouldn't matter whether they were open or shut when Creek was shot. The blood would always end up on the same side. Hey! I said I finally got the windows lined up right in the arcs. You didn't say that. At least not aloud. Thank you for always listening, Sarah. But I said it just now, so whatever. What do you mean lined up? The blood spatter. Okay, there you go. Looks a lot nicer now, doesn't it? Again, I don't want to like stir anything or make anybody bad or yuck anybody's yum. It's not that. It's just being on social media sometimes and actually engaging with the media that people are talking about and not seeing anything that's like blatantly the thing that they're saying it is. It just kind of makes me wonder what some people's definition of the thing that they're trying to say this thing is. That's all I'm saying. I look, super hardcore gay myself, okay? Like, it's not a, oh no, I'm, being homophobic. It's nothing like that. It's just, sometimes I think maybe we should look at what's actually being presented in the media we're talking about and looking at it at the way it's being presented to us at face value because it's being written that way on purpose. Like, there's just no undertones here, I don't think. There's nothing. Yes, thank you, Your Honor. That is so inappropriate for an adjutant to do. But it's gotten us all on the same page. We can all reasonably conclude that the windows were closed when Creek was shot, at the very least. Yes. Though when they were next opened is something you'll fight over, I'm sure. Now, if this ARCS data could just tell me whether the windows are actually soundproof, I doubt the ARCS could simulate that accurately for you, Your Honor. But if we re-examine the scene for that specifically, it should prove simple enough to... Uh-oh. She's mad. Waste the court's time? Forgive me for repeating myself, Your Honor, but even if we prove conclusively that the windows were soundproof, the defense's argument still hinges entirely on the omission of one detail in the witness's testimony. Putting it another way, just because he didn't hear the music, that doesn't mean he couldn't hear the music because the soundproof windows were closed. The devil's proof. Yes, and you actually used it right this time. I did my reading. She's effectively conceded that the windows were soundproof. But she's also shifted tactics, and it's a formation I don't recognize. That's to be expected. I'm no general. But I do need Makoto here to tell me that I don't need Makoto here to tell me that war is deception. So how about a little misdirection? Listen up, Sarah. The important thing about the devil's proof is that it's always on our side. The side of underdogs, lovers, and dreamers the world around. The side of the defense, innocent until proven guilty. That's what makes the devil so infuriating for the prosecution. The people make a fair point, Your Honor. There really isn't any hard evidence for my fleeing suspect theory at the moment. But the people haven't disproven it either, have they? Oh! Boom. I forget the exact details, Your Honor, but all we need is a shadow of doubt, right? To overturn 5 dead bodies, the testimonies of 3 cops, and a room soaked to the floorboards in forensic evidence? Yeah! Oh! Have you lost your mind? Are you trying to piss everyone off here? Yes. Come on. You don't hate my theory that much, do you? I'm warming up to it. Then I'll stick to the facts for now. At the time Rogers and Chopin arrived, the front door was locked. The music was still playing at the scene of the crime, even if Rogers didn't notice it until stepping inside. And at the moment Creek was shot, at least we can be certain the soundproof windows behind him were closed. Yes, those are the facts. Why are you restating them? Because there's something that's been bothering me. If we accept these as the facts, one part of the Honorable Officer Rogers' testimony makes no sense. Heard gunshots in the lower wards headed towards the sound. Second floor, Chopin heard noise. Went to the third floor. I think I know where we're going with this. I know what Morgan's up to. Isn't it weird that Chopin called this in the first place? How could these 2 officers have set off a response to the sound of gunshots if the room was deafened by the time the gun was fired? Now you go there? Oh crap, yeah. Wait, excuse me, what are you talking about? It's the very first thing you told us, officer. Your partner heard gunshots. But how is that possible? But he said it. He said it. Even on the radio, he called it in. True enough, I can see right here in the police network's database, 9:45 p.m., Officer Tariq Chopin reports shots fired. So he did, and since we can't ask him to testify, we'll just have to take him on his word. But just to clarify, Officer Rogers, are you saying you never heard any gunshots yourself? Well, I didn't have my head out the window like him, so that's what you're trained to do, isn't it? Report anything you see or hear across the network? Well, one report is usually sufficient. But confirmation is always ideal, right? Yes or no, Officer Rogers? I never heard any gunshots. Hang on, are you really... So you never heard a peep? But your partner, he somehow managed to waltz you both over to exactly where 4 vicious murders had been committed. Before anyone else got there, I just drove where he pointed, so... Oh. You need to be very careful here. Thank you for your concern, Miss Rockford. But don't forget, I hate losing. Pardon? I said, but don't forget to direct your comments to the bench. You bring that up now? Every cop in the room already thinks I'm a mob lawyer at this point. Compared to that, mocking the memory of the deceased is small time. I feel like you're gonna say something shocking here and I should stop you. But I can't really stop you before you say it, so... I'm just confused is all, Your Honor. How could Officer Chopin have possibly arrived at the scene of the crime when he couldn't have heard any gunshots? Unless he was asked to come there directly. Oh, like he got an Evite? Exactly. Officer Chopin answered a distress call from the Blue Bloods. Oh, we're stirring them up now. Oh! Tell me, are these her usual tactics? Turning the entire city against her for no discernible reason? No. Well, the first time we met, she did technically... Your Honor, the defense is completely out of line. The gallery is pretty poorly behaved, too. You gonna rein this in, or should I? Allow me. Hey, Kit, how you doing? Welcome in. This art change is different but jarring. Ooh, the way she's turned this around is so good. Tariq Chopin was an upstanding officer with no marks on his record. You say he was some kind of blue blood pawn, but he had to break into their building in order to enter. And you have the gall to claim he answered a distress call when there's no panic button, no phone records to suggest that he was ever sent. True. That's all you have to say after posthumously accusing the son of 2 city councilmen of being corrupted by blue blood pocket change? It's a fair point. Chopin was the son of 2 city councilmen and by all accounts a dedicated police officer. He wouldn't work with the Blue Bloods without an unusually strong motive. The kind of thing that would make the headlines. What are we doing? Time to flex your media literacy. Boy, it's about time for about 97% of the internet to fail this test. Whatever's about to happen here. Choose and present the article that shows motive for Chopin to work with the Blue Bloods. Remember, you can reread any articles you've collected this episode on your phone. But you already read them front to back, right? Have you been watching this stream? I absolutely do read these every time. Oh, Lord, what do we got? Okay, let's just go back, have a look at these in order. Serial bombings, what do we got? Yeah, I read it for the articles. This seems very unattached to things. I don't know what Chopin would have. So I'm gonna go ahead and just mark that one off immediately. A political convention. Well, okay, but this seems like it could be plausible. Spending and contracts and stuff. So, convention. I'm not gonna read these out loud again, I'm skimming. I'm not feeling like the convention is it either. I don't develop by nah, this is just so it's got to be the ballot measures at some point, right? Oh, whoa. 492-1A, funding of Atlas Pillar Rejuvenation Projects. Chopin, Howe Industries, and Wickham. Funded the renovation and reinforcement of multiple Atlas pillars around the lower wards. Generally viewed favorably, right? Looking for some specific mentions of the people sponsoring it. But this absolutely is it. It has to be. So it's the ballot measures. Yeah, it's Atlas Pillar Rejuvenation. So it's the ballot measures. Wait, no. Fire it up. She Atlas on my pillar while I rejuvenate. It's okay. It's okay. Everybody else was thinking it. It's okay. Officer Chopin would never compromise his well-documented morals for anything less than an earth-shaking opportunity. Yes, counselor, but his family is very well off. What could this earth-shaking opportunity possibly have been? How about a donation to his parents? What? Sidebar for a moment. What? How are you all thinking about voting? Oh, don't get me started. I'm a political junkie. What are you... Sorry, on the ballot measures specifically. Huh? Am I the only one who sweats over this stuff? Maybe it's old-fashioned, but I was hoping to hear some diverse, nuanced opinions on Proposition 492. Wait, but that's the funding of Atlas Pillar Rejuvenation Projects. I think it's a nice idea. Bringing prosperity to the lower wards, literal stability to everyone above them, and of course, the mother of all paydays to anyone lucky enough to own the land it'll require. Wait a minute. You mean... You... Am I the only one who reads the news anymore? Wasn't counting on this being rhetorical, but... Who on the city council is sponsoring Proposition 492? Chopin's parents. One last question. Less rhetorical this time. This crime took place at a known blue blood property. So why was this found there? Nah. Weeks data pad. Oh. Oh shit! Wait. Re-election long, upcoming, upsec. Wait. To support construction, expand eminent domain. No, this is it. There's enough here. Yep, this is it. Why was the red ink there? Highly confidential red ink documents were found underneath Chopin's corpse. They're almost entirely illegible by now, but you can still make out a reference to P492 right there. That struck me as odd. Reinforcing the canopy. A state construction project that massive in the lower wards would mean even the police can't keep a crime scene secure down here unless they're willing to play ball with the Blues. It'd have to get past the Blue Bloods, or through them, with open arms and firm handshakes. Just what the hell are you trying to say? Counselor Morgan, if you... Sorry, wasn't sure I actually had to spell it out, but it certainly looks like Patrol Officer Tariq Chopin was working with the Blue Blood Mafia to defraud the city. Uh-oh! Oh, shit. Yep. I don't think the crowd's gonna like this very much. She said it. She said that? What did you just say? Are you trying to piss off every cop and every politician in the city? Sorry, I'll gladly retract my statement. That is, as soon as any cop or politician or prosecutor can explain to the court how Tariq Chopin was able to arrive at the crime scene that night. When we all know damn well he never heard any gunshots. It is a bit of a pickle. What have you got for us, witness? What? I don't know. He had good ears or something. Or good intuition or whatever. Your Honor, the simplest explanation is that Officer Chopin was tipped off by a CI that he neglected to inform his partner about. All right, sure. A criminal insider. Hey, Chopin wasn't a patrol officer with a secret criminal informant that he'd hide from his own partner. That sounds horribly corrupt. And you called my comments inflammatory? Corrupt? You got brass, all right. That's real rich coming from a uh-oh. Oh, boy. He said it. He said it. Big uh-oh. Your Honor, the witness's last statement was a regrettable slip of the tongue. Frankly, his entire testimony has been less than ideal, and so I had already snipped the jury's feed, but the crowd... Seriously? He's the Hound? But isn't the Hound that... cop killing animals? Knew that whole house stank like shit. Watch what you say about a man's family, you... Or what, you'll stab us in the back too? Sosuke, please calm down and shut up. Bad apple, hang the whole house with him. Your Honor, these outbursts from the gallery are not ideal, but we need to focus on preventing... It's not enough you butchered him like that. Animals! You gotta pay this lawyer to spit on his grave too? At least the Blue Bloods know their place. How dare you, while you pigs were colluding with the Blue Bloods to rip off everyone in the lower wards. Better a Blue Blood than a piss running your... Oh my God, man. I need the adjutant to get this under control now. Sarah, hold him. Pardon? Stop him from doing anything stupid now. Okay, it was fun, but now you've ruined it. You're all done. This court is now in recess. Bailiffs, clear the room. It's not enough. Nah, I'm not done talking. I want to speak. Tell him, Rogers. This heat. Burn the house. Tension like a haze in the air. Rip him out by the roots. And on the back of my neck, every last one. Should have taken you out when I had the chance, you... A bead of sweat and something that feels like... Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Die, you son of a bitch! Behind us. Get down. Oh, shit. What am I reaching for? I don't even have my gun. Oh, shit! That was tense. Oh, wow. Hey, are you okay? Are you hit? Sosuke, I am not injured. The danger's gone. The heat of the moment replaced by the chill of the cold sweat on my lower back. But why did you push me down? What? What do you mean, why? Why did I take my time turning back to trace the bullet's trajectory. Vaguely, I'm aware of stomping feet as the crowd rushes to the exits, but the sound is far away. Reflexes, sorry. You all right there, ma'am? I'm fine, detective. Thank you. For a moment, I lock eyes with Detective Kasim London. In that instance, I recognize a nameless flickering across his face, cold and sharp like frostbitten furs. Emotion? E-M-O-T-I-O-N. Nameless. We don't need a word for it, because we only ever see it once. At the very end. Wow. Yeah, everybody's sneaking their pistols into the court. Does this game take place in Newark? Yeah, I figured that was emotion because I just I was smart and just counted the blocks. Okay, things got crazy in court today. Let's do a save. Holy crap, dude. Yo, we're gonna go back in? You showed up at a wild time, absolutely. I had a hard time counting past 4. Thank you for doing that, Polly. I do it for the people like you in the audience. I know. Okay. I've taken 60 seconds to yell into a couch pillow, so maybe now one of you should tell me what the hell happened out there. How did that man get into the courtroom, the building, and with a weapon like whatever the hell that was? It was his own arm, Madam Burroughs. Madam Barrows. It says Barrows. She's a superior judge of the higher circuit. She likes hot springs, cold beer, and warm tea. She dislikes waking up before her alarm. She's a cat person. I happen to be allergic. Mark answer as yes. Never forgets a password shorter than 10 characters. Favorite season? Fall. It was his own arm, Madam Barrows. Modded illegally at some literal shop. Fully prosthetic but fairly low tech. It uses a simple air intake system and projectiles made of enamel. Enamel? As in teeth? Where on earth do these people? Doesn't trigger any metal detectors, looks organic from the outside. But if you're aiming at flesh, it gets the job done. And are metal detectors all that stand between a crazed gunman and the law of the land? No, Your Honor, we're looking into it now. But we've already found some discrepancies in the personnel files of courthouse security team members. He probably got his hands on a key card, lost, bought, or stolen, and had it modified to get him in the building. Would that work? Only needs to work once. This time, it did. I doubt he expected to leave alive, so you ask me, we're lucky he's stuck with something more directed instead of an explosion. Oh yeah, you missed a court shooting. It was pretty crazy. Dude just in the gallery popped out and was like, all right, I'm gonna shoot up the place now that we're starting to pull the wool back on the fact that maybe this Chopin guy, maybe he's not all on the up and up and is probably defrauding the city. Yeah, Millie, you missed the big stuff. You missed literally the most important thing. We've kind of started to pin the blame on, for everything that's happened so far on Chopin himself. And we have reason to believe he may have been trying to defraud the city. So he's a part of whatever just happened here. But yeah, somebody in the crowd got very angry that we, started pulling things in that direction and decided to take a shot. But our good pal London, he caught that shit. He saw it coming, and it seems like he's popped the perp. This is a nightmare. What am I supposed to do now? The jury must be horrified. I don't know how we could proceed. As I recall, the adjutant cut their feed the moment Officer Rogers mentioned the Hound of Icaria, so they didn't actually see the shooting. And by the way, how does a patrol officer know that my client is the lead suspect in that case? Would anyone like to explain that to me? Well, you'd have to ask organized crimes, but the mood around Rogers has been celebratory. I'd imagine there were plenty of cops eager to describe in detail what he'd achieved by catching Sosuke red-handed. Allegedly. There's no presumption of innocence in station locker rooms or cop bars, counselor. So the OC department buys Rogers a round of drinks, and 24 hours later, I've got a shooter in my courtroom. Who was he? The shooter's been ID'd as Bowen Bresson, low-level muscle in the Blue Blood Mafia. Priors for possession, dealing, assault. Attempting to carry out an assassination in a courtroom full of cops is quite the step up. Any connections to Creek's Pod? Nah, older generation, different part of town. Not exactly thick as thieves. So trying to execute Sosuke wasn't an act of revenge. He was given orders. Yes, that's very interesting, but it's a job for the police to handle. Counselor Morgan, I assume you'll be filing for a mistrial? About that. I feel it's in my client's best interest for the trial to continue. What? A Blue Blood gunman just tried to shoot him. But the jury didn't see that. And all they know right now is that they've been given a long lunch. You too? The goal, Your Honor, as I've always understood it, is for a defense attorney to do what's best for their client. Right now, clearly, the Blue Blood Mafia is convinced my client killed 4 of their men. And every cop in the city thinks he killed Officer Chopin. If he walks on a mistrial, he won't be able to walk down the street without getting shanked. Sosuke Icaria doesn't need a mistrial. He needs a media blackout. I really hate that term. She's right, Your Honor. If the story spreads that the Blue Bloods tried to assassinate Sosuke, every juror in the city will assume he's guilty. We won't be able to find anyone over the age of 10 who hasn't heard of him, let alone put together 12 unbiased peers to judge him. It's okay. I'm actually probably, like, once we're done with the court, I'm actually probably gonna cut here after this scene, because I'm feeling a little tired tonight, and I just kind of like want to give it a little bit of a rest. So we won't be going for much longer tonight, so it's not a big deal if you want to dip. You won't have a whole lot to catch up on. So even if that's true, and even if it's possible, what you're asking for is, Detective, is the building still in lockdown? standard procedure says to keep it that way another half hour. We would have to... The stands were full of police officers, and any one of them could... Ambulance Chaser will pay prime for a story this rich. Someone's gonna break rank. We don't need the blackout to last forever. We just need it to be intimidating enough that the story doesn't leak until the trial's over. Which will be when exactly? We could finish tomorrow. There aren't that many witnesses left on the docket. Finished tomorrow? Yes, Your Honor. Ugh. Fine, yes. We'll have a blackout. A big, scary old blackout, like we're in the shadowy master, like they're the shadowy masters of the universe. Happy? Perfectly. Thank you, Your Honor. Detective, follow me. You'll need my authorization to activate the building's blanket protocols. Right behind you, ma'am. Surprised to be arguing for the same thing as you for once. Thanks for not gagging from the effort. Any other defense attorney in the city would have taken the mistrial. Dumped the Hound of Icaria on some other idiot's doorstep and cashed their check. Some other idiot, huh? Or is it that you can't dump him? You under house arrest already? I haven't felt threatened by them. That could change fast if you fail them. House Icaria are high society, haven't you heard? And I'm beneath their notice. I don't think they'd bother to axe me just for underperforming. Sounds like exactly the kind of thing that high society types would do. Going this far for your client, though? You know me. Defender of the weak, champion of the downtrodden. I'd go through a lot more than this to keep my face out of the papers. Hopefully, when the story does eventually leak, the focus should be entirely on Sosuke. But if this means people start recognizing me, remembering me, Bowen Bresson will be glad London did him and won. I'd twist a knife as slow as a second hand if he's... You okay? Compared to you, I guess not. I've never seen anyone get shot before. Oh. Right. Sorry. No, I'm sorry. That was... Maybe I'm feeling jealous. I spend all this time poring over crime scenes and diagrams, trying to get inside the head of Heartbreak of all people, and maybe I get into my own head that I'm some kind of unfeeling badass. Just to freeze up like a deer at the sight of actual violence. I'll need to get over that. Do you? Do you need to get over it? I have a responsibility. A prosecutor isn't a hangman, Emma. No. If a hangman does their job right, the neck snaps, the subject's dead before the pain ever reaches their brain. If I do my job right, Sosuke Icaria spends the rest of his life drooling on himself while Megs haggle over the property rights to his gray matter. If you feel that bad about it, you could always recommend a lesser sentence. That's just the thing. I've never felt that bad about it at all. Runs in the family. The way she whispered it, and that half-stuttering sigh. I'm not sure she even heard it herself. All right, like I said, I'm actually gonna call it there for tonight. Sorry for going a little shorter than these usually go, but feeling a little tired today, and I don't really want to push it. So we're gonna go ahead and have ourselves a nice early night. I think that was certainly, that was certainly enough action for one day. That was certainly not where I thought that this case was gonna go. Certainly did not expect to see an attempted courtroom assassination when we decided to join together today for this wonderful game. But let's see if there's anybody. It's kicking up a stream. It's got something going. Another one of those nights where nobody's kind of like doing anything remotely similar to what you're doing, so you can't keep the train going. Let's do. We're gonna go say hi to our good pal D-Mac, Devin and Raccoon. Keep in mind that is a family-friendly stream when you get over there. They're playing Chibi Robo, but it should be a good time. So the next time we will be together, we're not going to stream tomorrow night because a lot of people have kind of indicated to me that they've got plans. So we're actually going to take the night off tomorrow and come back on Thursday night at 7 p.m. and dive right back into things. So thanks everybody for stopping by. I hope you have a nice rest of your whatever, wherever you are, and we'll catch you next time.